shuffle of socks against hardwood and the soft clatter of pans in the kitchen. Sunlight streamed in through sheer curtains, casting golden bars across the living room and catching dust motes midair like tiny stars. Semi stood at the stove, a relaxed hum in his throat as he flipped a pancake with an easy, practiced motion. He wore nothing but joggers slung low on his hips and a tank top that left little to the imagination. His long fingers drummed against the handle of the spatula as he sang under his breath, one of his band's unreleased songs slipping out in gentle harmony. Again with the breakfast concerts. There came a voice from the table, dry, unimpressed, but fond. Shirabu, already dressed for the day in fitted sweatpants and a hoodie, was nursing a mug of coffee with bleary eyes. His iPad sat in front of him, displaying an article from a medical journal he was clearly only half reading. Semi turned his head with a dazzling grin. "What can I say? The muse strikes early. You sound like you're trying to seduce the eggs," Shirabu muttered, not looking up. "I mean, I could seduce you instead, but you don't sizzle like the pan does. You're insufferable. You love it," Semi replied smoothly. "Unfortunately," Shirabu said, sipping his coffee like it was whiskey and the morning was a war. From the hallway, the dull thud of socked footsteps and the faint sound of cursing marked the arrival of Kyutani. His damp blonde hair clung to his forehead, towel around his neck from a morning run. His tank top clung in all the right places, and it didn't escape Semi's attention. "Morning," Kyutani grunted as he entered the kitchen. Semi's eyes trailed down his form, slow and deliberate. "Well damn," he said, tongue between his teeth. "I leave you alone for one workout and you come back looking like a whole protein commercial." Kyutani froze mid-reach for a glass of water, eyes flicking to Semi. "You're being annoying again. That's my love language, Ken." Kyutani muttered something into his glass but didn't pull away when Semi drifted closer, a hand brushing against his side as he reached around to grab the coffee pot. Shirabu didn't even look up from his screen. "If you two start flirting at the counter again, I'm going to commit violence." "That's rich coming from the guy who couldn't stop swooning over my eyelashes after 2 glasses of wine last night," Semi shot back. Shirabu choked on his coffee. "I will end you." A lump on the couch shifted with a groan, emerging from a sea of pillows and blankets. "Can you all stop flirting or fighting for like 2 seconds? My peaceful morning's agenda is in danger," Yahaba whined, his head poking out from the blanket cocoon. His cheeks were flushed with sleep, hair sticking up in every direction. Kyutani's expression softened instantly. "You didn't sleep well again." "Didn't sleep at all," Yahaba grumbled, sitting up slowly. Someone was snoring. "Guilty. You don't even snore, you purr like a cat who just finished a bottle of tequila." "That sounds kind of hot, actually," Semi replied, handing Yahaba a mug of hot cocoa. "You've got quite the imagination." "I hate you," Yahaba muttered. But he took the cocoa, eyes crinkling. They sat around the low table, plates full of pancakes, strawberries, and whipped cream. Semi had plated everything like he was competing in a food blog photo shoot. Yahaba was sitting cross-legged next to Kyutani, his head on his shoulder as he picked at his food. Shirabu sat across from them, back perfectly straight even while eating, occasionally flicking pieces of strawberry at Semi whenever he made a bad pun. Semi, sitting beside Shirabu, leaned back on one hand and watched his boyfriends with something close to reverence. "So, when's your next gig?" "Next Friday. Got invited to this cozy little rooftop venue in Shibuya. You guys coming?" "Obviously," Yahaba said, leaning into Kyutani's chest. "I love watching you sing. It's like your voice cuddles my brain." "Gross," Shirabu said, but accurate. Kyutani gave a noncommittal grunt but didn't look away from Semi. "You're good up there." Semi's brows lifted. "Wow. A compliment from the beast himself." Kyutani kicked him under the table, and Semi grinned like he'd won a prize. After breakfast, they moved into the living room. The boys sprawled out across couches and cushions, the kind of lazy weekend peace that was almost sacred. Shirabu curled up in an armchair, iPad in hand. Yahaba was burrowed under another blanket, feet in Kyutani's lap, who was lazily massaging them without being asked. Semi settled on the floor, guitar in his lap, fingers strumming a melody. He started to sing softly, a melody none of them recognized yet. Yahaba peeked out from the blanket. "Is that a new one?" "Wrote it last week," Semi said, not looking up. Kyutani watched him play for a long moment before asking, "Is it about us?" Semi paused. Then, it's always about you guys. Silence fell. The good kind. As the others cleaned up inside, Semi stepped onto the narrow balcony, letting the late morning breeze cool his skin. A few birds hopped along the railing. The hum of city life was distant, softened by the height of their apartment. Kyutani followed him out a minute later, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. Hey, he said. Semi didn't turn around. Hey. Kyutani leaned against the railing beside him, arms folded. You okay? Me. Semi laughed softly. I'm always okay. Bullshit, Kyutani said. You get this, look. When you're hiding stuff. Semi looked at him then. You know me that well, huh? Kyutani's jaw ticked. I know when you're carrying too much. They stood in silence. Finally, Semi spoke. I've been getting some weird messages. Kyutani stiffened. What kind of messages? Just some random fan being creepy. It's probably nothing. Kyutani turned to him fully. Why the hell didn't you tell us? Semi gave him a look. Because you'd all freak out. And it's probably nothing. Kyutani stepped closer, close enough that their forearms brushed. I am freaking out. You're important to me. Semi blinked. Kentaro. Kyutani's voice dropped. If anyone ever touches you. They won't, Semi said quickly. I'm careful. Kyutani scowled. Not the point. Semi stepped into his space, chest to chest. Are you worried about me? Kyutani's throat worked. Of course I am, dumbass. Semi leaned in, brushing their noses together. You're kind of cute when you're protective. You're always saying shit like that, Kyutani grumbled, ears red. I don't know what to do with it. You don't have to do anything, Semi said. Just, stay close. I'm not going anywhere. They stood like that for a moment, the breeze lifting their hair, the noise of the city below irrelevant in the face of everything unspoken between them. The four of them fell asleep tangled together in the big bed. Semi was curled around Kyutani, who had his arm draped possessively over Semi's waist. Shirabu was spooning Yahaba, who rested his head on Shirabu's chest. The room was dark, except for the soft glow of the city lights filtering in through the window. Semi breathed out, feeling warmth and safety. For now, this was enough.